What's up, you guys? It's Graham here, and apparently the next financial crisis is here, and it's not just AI. This is all according to a Reddit post that makes the claim that it's a systemic collapse worse than 2008, and it's, I quote, dog shit wrapped in cat shit. This post also makes the claim that you could basically just copy and paste this entire wall of text into AI, and it'll tell you it's true and just how messed up the entire economy is about to be. So I want to go through all of this step by step and tell you what's actually going to happen from this as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe, because it helps with the channel tremendously, and as a thank you for doing that, here's a picture of Bailey. So thanks so much, and also a big thank you to Hone for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. Let's start with claim number one, that private credit is expected to grow past $4 trillion by 2030. This then makes the argument that this $4 trillion private credit market is what's called level 3 assets. This means that there's no way to verify how much they're actually worth. They're pretty opaque. We have no idea if they're going to be performing, if these people are going to be paying back these loans. It's kind of a mystery, okay? So a big portion of this credit market is very obscured, which leads to point number 3. A huge portion of these loans were written in 2021 and 2 during low interest rates and are now becoming mature in 2027 through 9. Now, because of that, this is being labeled as what's called a maturity wall, where basically all these loans are going to be coming due at the same time. And because interest rates have increased so much over the last few years, these companies are going to have to refinance those low interest rates into much higher rates, which the theory here is that they're not going to be able to afford it, and therefore everything is going to go to shit. Number 6, this person makes the claim that the IMF estimates that roughly 40% of private credit borrowers operate with negative free cash flow, up from 25% in 2021. Because of this, it's estimated that the real private credit default rate is estimated to be 5 to 6% and increasing. Now, here's where things get really interesting, and I'm going to dumb it down as simply as possible so everyone understands exactly what's going on. Right now, the default rate on private credit is artificially low, according to this, because a lot of private credit, when they can't afford to pay back their loans, they do what's called a PIK. Now, the way this works and how it's so sneaky is that normally when someone defaults on a loan, what ends up happening is that that person ends up getting foreclosed on, they fall behind, the lender basically takes back the asset, they send collections after the person, and this person's done, okay? They don't come back. And that loan has basically gone bad. But with a PIK, what they're able to do instead is just say, hey, if you owe us $300,000, we're actually just going to add that to the balance of the loan. And so your loan balance keeps going up, and technically you're current. Technically, we've just made more money, and technically, you don't have to pay, because what you owe us just gets added on to the back end. That is what this person is making the claim is happening. Or basically, they invented a new instrument to hide the fact that interest payments are being missed and that these loans are growing into dog shit so they could leverage more. So basically, to summarize the rest of this post, and most importantly, what this means for you, the argument here is that all of these bad loans that are just ballooning into larger and larger payments are being sold off to these credit funds that are being bought up by pensions and hedge funds and banks, and basically where people have their everyday money. And most people are going about their lives having no idea that these loans are just getting worse, that everywhere that they're invested, behind the scenes, their assets are tied up in these big piles of poo-poo that are just going to be getting worse, owned by companies with negative cash flow, and eventually everything is just going to hit the fan. So again, in terms of what this means for you and my own thoughts about what's most likely going to come from this, especially the impact it's going to have throughout the economy, here's exactly what you came for. We're going to be fact-checking the first part, point number 1. In terms of the private credit market, yes, it is growing, and yes, this post is correct that it is on pace to hit $4 trillion by 2030. Except the big difference here is that back in 2008, the $2 trillion market this person is talking about was really just isolated to the mortgage market. It was tied to the value of everyone's houses. Whereas today, the $4 trillion private credit market is way more diversified. So if companies fail within that $4 trillion market, it's not going to be isolated to like one specific sector, and therefore any issues are going to be spread pretty thoroughly. You know, this reminds me that when we talk about the economy, personal finance, and protecting your assets, most people think about investments, their emergency fund, taxes, insurance, you name it. But almost no one thinks about protecting the one asset that makes all of that possible, yourself. Like, the thing is, if you're constantly tired, low energy, losing muscle, gaining belly fat, and just feeling off, most people chalk that up to just, I'm busy, I'm getting older, it's just the way things are now. But according to the American Urological Association, testosterone could decline 1 to 3% a year after the age of 40, and that's something that most guys never even think to check. That's why it's so important that we talk about today's sponsor, Hone. For those unaware, Hone Health is a longevity telehealth clinic that gives you a better understanding of what's going on inside your body. And the process is really simple. You buy a test, book and complete a blood draw at one of their 2,000 plus local lab locations nationwide, and they test for over 40 biomarkers, including testosterone, heart health, metabolism, prostate markers, and more. From there, you'll have a video call with a licensed physician to go over your results, and if appropriate, they'll build you a personalized treatment plan. I'm not a medical professional, but Hone Health connects you with a licensed physician who will discuss the benefits and risks of treatment. So you don't have to become a medical expert. Hone has real doctors, physician-prescribed treatment, and personalized care based on your results. Then, if medication is prescribed, that can be shipped right to your door. Getting older doesn't mean you have to feel worse, so stop being reactive, get checked, and get started with Hone for $50. The link is also down below in the description or the QR code on the screen. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the video. Now, in terms of the other claims here, yes, it is true that a lot of the private is highly illiquid level 3. This creates a lot of issues valuing companies. People could basically value themselves at whatever they want. They could raise capital at whatever valuation necessary. And this, I would say, is more on the risk of the individual investor than, Joe Schmo over there on the street who kind of is going about their day. They're probably not going to have a lot to worry about this specifically. But then that brings us to the maturity wall of 2027 through 2029. And again, I gotta say, this post does have a lot of accuracy. A lot of these companies are going to have to raise at much higher interest rates, or they're just going to default on the loans. And if they default on the loans, it really falls back to whoever owns those loans if they're not able to pay them back, or they're going to work out some sort of term bridge loan that they could maybe take on for the short term, like 1 to 2 years, to hopefully refinance less in the future. But my bet when it comes to a lot of this is that most likely the Fed's going to be lowering interest rates over the next year and a half anyway, unless something crazy happens. And a lot of these companies are probably going to hope that they could refinance at lower interest rates in the future than they can today. And if they're able to do this, then a lot of this is just going to be pushed off into the future. Now, this post is also very accurate when it comes to private credit freezes. We have seen quite a few limited redemptions in private credit simply because everyone wants their money out right now when interest rates are high and they could earn, more money elsewhere pulling their money out. And when everyone tries to pull their money out, obviously they don't have the capital or liquidity to be able to do something like that, and so they're going to halt withdrawals. In fact, just recently, Blackstone even restricted flagship fund withdrawals as private asset fears reemerge. So even though this sounds really spooky in terms of the impact to the average person out there, I have to say, unless you personally are invested in private credit and you want to take your money out as soon as possible, realistically, most of you watching, it's probably going to have little to no effect on your own personal finances. Like, even if a significant portion of these private companies end up going bust and banks and insurance companies and pensions are invested in them, realistically, a lot of those companies are so diversified that if a small portion of their portfolio goes to zero, they're going to have plenty else to fall back on. And that's something I think very few people really talk about. Now, beyond that, in terms of other reasonable effects throughout our economy, realistically, if the private credit market dries up, and let's just say it goes completely bust, the more immediate impact for a lot of people watching is simply that smaller companies are going to be unable to borrow money. And when they're unable to borrow money, it's going to affect the jobs market. It might be a little bit more difficult for businesses to expand. We might see slower growth. And as a result of that, perhaps the stock market's not going to be doing as well in the future as a lot of people have become accustomed to. That's why I tend to think that even though this entire post is directionally true and there are risks, I just don't think these risks apply to the average person. I think overall our economy has so much else going for it that even if some of this fails, even half of it fails, there's so much left out there that's also doing well. And the average person for this, maybe if you're able to short some specific companies that are directly tied to this, hey, maybe there's an opportunity there. But broadly speaking, I just don't see the impact this is going to have on most people negatively, and I think long-term it's something to keep in mind. But mostly, it just means you should be investing in index funds instead, diversifying your exposure. Don't put money in private equity unless you're willing to write that down to zero. And then no matter what, hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to check out our sponsor Hone down below in the description, because just like it's important that our economy does well, you should be doing just as well, if not better. So again, that link is down below in the description. Thank you so much, and until next time.